Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to the second segment of our show, NTV Exclusive. We have been talking about Bangladesh Diaries by Salam Jones. My name is Abul Hasnath, I'm your host for tonight, and we are going through the journey that Bangladesh Diaries has been presented to us with. So Salama, just sort of latching straight back onto what we were discussing. I mean, and I sort of, my fault as well for reversing the questions and going back a step, but your expectation is really interesting because obviously it's typical of our community, you know. Yes, they tell you don't avoid this, or you're going to get robbed, you're going to have everything taken away from you. But the one thing that seems to click on everybody's minds is the voodoo side of things. And tell us, give us your opinion.
I'll be honest with you, I'm more of a scientist than anything. I just do not believe in voodoo, man. I mean, unless somebody can prove me otherwise, I really do not. I sincerely believe in the power of suggestion, POS, if you call it, and I believe in the placebo effect. So if you suggest to somebody that they're going to get ill by drinking a glass of mineral water, they possibly will make themselves sick. I didn't expect much. I didn't experience any voodoo in Bangladesh. I certainly didn't experience anyone trying to, poison me or anything. I found it a very welcoming country, and there were two main intentions with creating this product. And when I say product, like it's all good. I mean, I do a lot of fundraising. I do a lot of charity work because Alhamdulillah, I'm in a really, really lucky position in my life where I have a good, a good home. I have a good job. I have a regular income, and I have a roof over my head.
You've got the freedom now to go and give back,
I'm in a better position. I mean, 10 years ago I wasn't. I was literally on the dole queue, but now I'm in a much better position, and I'm older. I'm not getting younger, so I'm But yes, and for this I'm grateful. But so the two main reasons. We made this product, and again I go back to the word product because it's one thing to say to people, yeah, give me your money, £20. To me, as much as it is a charity donation, ultimately that £20 should get you a good, decent product that you're happy to part with the money. So you're not just giving to charity. Yeah, whether the money goes to charity or not, that's really my business, and I've pledged it to charity. That's fine. But the fact is, you're still paying for something. So by taking your £20, I would like to ensure that we've given you a justifiable product for that money. And I think, I really, really do believe a 308-page full-color book is great value for money.
You know what's brilliant about what you've said, and I'm not saying brilliant because you're sitting in front of me talking about it. Genuinely, it's such a great concept because we typically see people, they only give to charity when they're in difficulties and they want the help of Allah, so they give sadaqah and Allah will bring you out of pain, or give charity now. But in your case, you're like, actually, no matter what state of mind or frame you are in, you're buying something just like you'll buy food from the shelf to fulfill that. What you don't know is indirectly that money is going to a charity, and from an Islamic and a Muslim perspective, that's going with you to your grave as a good deed. And no, I think it's just, this is my opinion. Somebody might come and say different otherwise, but that's the thing. Those that haven't even thought about giving to charity and are just looking for some fulfillment, those that love reading.
Well, the thing is that the product itself is very unique because up till now, as far as I'm aware, there isn't really anything like it. No one has really created a visual. I mean, there are a couple of books out there, but I find them very exclusive and slightly pretentious and sort of out of reach of the everyday working man. This was really designed to be for the people, by the people, But the two reasons we created this product was, one was to raise that money for charity, for the street children, A, having the financial aid to give to them, but B, also by raising the awareness of their plight via the pictures. But the second reason was, and as you know, in this country, we have a massive problem with the third generation Bengalis growing up in this country who have they're losing the grasp of the language, they're losing their love for the cuisine, they don't want to dress Bengali, and they have absolutely no interest in the country. And part of that is due to what they've heard. Fekhor desh, Martir desh, Goribor desh, Zaduhori libo, Hailibo Besilibo, Kitaho, all this nonsense. And the thing is, one of the other aim, the other main aim was to try to instill that curiosity and that love of, or the appreciation of cultural and natural beauty that Bangladesh has to offer to the third generation growing up in this country, the two bits of feedback that really warmed my heart, I mean, I genuinely put a smile on my face, man. I mean, it's like, when I heard them both, I could not stop beaming all day. That was for me the cherry on top. One was a sister phones me up and says, Salam bhai, tumhar boi to amar goro is doing wonders. You know, my kids didn't want to go Bangladesh before, but after seeing your book, they really want to go Bangladesh now.
That's marvelous.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
marvelous.
It's for me. It's that's the cherry on top. The second bit of feedback I'm getting is the murabbis. They get really watery-eyed. They get misty. They get nostalgic. They just start reminiscing on what they left behind 30, 20, 30, 40, some 50 years before. And now Bangladesh hasn't changed, especially in the villages, it hasn't changed that much in the last 30 years. Despite however much money we've poured into the country, village life is still village life. And it's very, very, you know, the evolution is very slow in the villages, as you know.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's hitting all the right, you know, it's hitting all the right spots.
You know, because it's typical of what first generation Murabbis are actually saying, that, you know, the kids are forgetting. But you have possibly offered at least, I'm not going to say it's solely the only one, but at least one and very viable solution to those parents that are worried about their kids losing touch of their origins.
For me, the Bengali identity thing is really important. It's you know, we will never, doesn't matter, Jones daki na, Smith daki na, you know, Harris, whatever we call ourselves. Ultimately, you know, Dave, Pete, John will never really see us as equals.
Yes.
They will never accept us. We will never be English. We will never be, you know, the ethnic group.
Or never, or a few centuries maybe.
We might be integrated, but that's ultimately we'll still be the outsiders.
Yeah.
You know? So I think for us to retain our heritage and retain our identity is really crucial. And as much as our kids are growing up in this country, if we don't teach them where we come from, they won't know where they're going to go. Because I think it's really important to understand where you're going. It's really important to know where you've come from. And the third generation, I mean, you know, a lot of it is down to youth as well, and youth sometimes often equates ignorance as well, so or lack of education, lack of understanding. But I mean, you see, you know, the third generation, they're going through their own initial struggles, their conflicting struggles. They don't know whether they're British, they're Bengalis, they don't know whether they're black, they don't know whether they're white, they don't really fit into, you know, do you know what I mean? So for me, it's really important that we help them retain this identity. We help them. I mean, I teach people to cook. I love to, I mean, I post online stuff, recipes, Bengali recipes, you know, hutki shira, you know, boro masar chutney, you know, there are all kinds of traditional stuff that our mothers used to cook that if we don't pass on to our kids, they'll just grow up eating chicken and chips. And
that's a big fear right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, forget about morbid obesity. It also leads to lack of brain activity. You know, processed food is not good for your brains. Natural food, you know, like our people, Bangladesh, you know, they live till they're 100. Why? Because of the food they eat. You know, here, I mean, this is a common known fact. Our parents, Basa saying, they're all starting to die at the age of 50, 60. Why? Because of all the food, the lifestyle. You know,
I mean, even the simple thing of the sprinkle of the dhania, coriander, even that's dying away, and that's such a. I'm touching the tip of the iceberg. In fact, you know, sometimes it's literally the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? When we talk about cakes, but yeah, even that's dying away now, and that's such a natural thing. We've got 3.5 months to get through, haven't we? So let's. I'm going to bring us back on track. Excuse the pun.
No.
We've spoken about your first week and obviously the shell shock that had on you, but as obviously your time boded by, and you know, you're continuing to take your pictures, and you know, your initial perspective of pictures was things that shocked you. But I want to now probably move into your second and third week when you started to see the class act, shall I call it? Tell us a bit about your experience on the class act.
Okay, Bangladesh is a country that is clearly divided. There is a massive division, and it's based on money, or rather the lack of money. 90% of the people don't have the money, 10% of the people do. In my honest experience, and I could be completely wrong, but in my honest opinion as well, the people who have money don't seem to be willing to share it with the ones that don't. and often justifying why and how they got their money, which is fair enough. But ultimately, I think it's important for people in privileged positions to be responsible for those around them as well. You are part of a community. You're part of a bigger picture. No man is an island. A lot of people say to me that, why do you do so much stuff for Bangladesh? I mean, I do a lot of stuff for other countries as well, don't get me wrong. A year ago, I was in Nepal just after the earthquake. I'm also trying to do some stuff for the Athlete Survivors Foundation in Bangladesh, and not only Bangladesh, but other countries as well. So, but a lot of people say, why do you do so much stuff for Bangladesh? The simple reason is because I can. Because I'm in a position where I'm able to do this stuff. And if I don't do this stuff, it's almost an insult. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm trying to remain humble.
So an insult to what, your family background?
No, to someone who has my abilities.
I see.
And not utilize it for the betterment of his people around him. It's such a waste. You know, I'm a lekhapora. I have the financial freedom. I don't have children, so I can travel at any time. I can go wherever my wife is very understanding. So I've been given this life and this all the things that I have. If I don't utilize this, I mean, I'm a writer. If I don't write for the good of my people, what's the point of calling yourself a writer? If I had a very expensive camera which I took with me for 3.5 months. If I don't do something with that camera, whose ego am I stroking? My
Absolutely.
own? You know, I mean, what am I doing with a camera floating around Bangladesh like they thought I was a journalist, and it actually helped because it opened a lot more doors.
Well, inadvertently, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I got into places that I would never have dreamed of otherwise. So.
I'm looking at some really interesting pictures. Obviously, this is sort of giving me a story of your initial onset, where you're more picking up things that you didn't know about at all, let's just say, because 37 years on, coming as a young 5-year-old, you really got no memory of the past. So this is all new to you, even though you probably had some sort of imagination of it from talking with family and friends. But I mean, what I liked is you've picked up on an image, and I hope everyone that those that have seen it already will know which one I'm talking about. You've got a group of young boys here, and what I liked about this picture, I mean, we've got a hoodie there, we've got a young man with some radio promotion, and then we've even got a lad with a designer top, which we know is highly unlikely to be genuine, but. There is an attempt from these youngsters in Bangladesh, who we can clearly see from sort of the dust on their face and their hands, are of a very poor background, but an attempt from them to be modern, to be of a certain stature.
Okay. That picture, I need to just explain to you. That picture is taken on a day in Mirpur, on a rainy day in Mirpur, in the middle of a slum, and these kids are all barefoot. You can't actually see that.
Yeah.
That was the that was the specific moment that I decided that I would need to make a book like this. When I saw them barefooted, and there was broken glass everywhere, and fikhegara, and then kids are just running around, and we've gone there to feed them. So we've actually gone there and we bought them all food from the stalls, and they're eating, and probably it might be the only meal they get that day.
Wow.
Do you know? So a lot of those clothes are donated.
I see.
So it's not specifically that they have aspirations towards design. They were donated clothes. I went the following day. I went to Komlapur station, and I sat there and I watched this young boy. This must have been about 8-9 years old. He was wearing a gentleman's blazer that was way too big for him, and it had holes in it. But that was his thing. That was his. He wasn't going to let that go.
Wow.
So I managed to get him to take it off by. Excuse me. I managed to get him to take it off by offering him a bribe, and the bribe was I gave him a brand new T-shirt, which had the logo of the charity that had given me the T-shirt. Yeah, so, and I thought, well, it's no point me having this T-shirt. All it does is shows that I've visited your charity. Ultimately, it will benefit the boy even more. Now, as soon as I gave it to him, he chucked his jacket down and put the thing on. He wasn't worried about his jacket. Then, straight away, 5 other boys came along. Now, I've got no other T-shirts. Now, I've started pulling out my own clothes. Yeah, and I've given it to all these kids. Next thing you know, there's a queue. But they weren't interested in designs. They weren't interested in logos. They can't read French Connection. Yeah. They're just grateful for what they've got.
Wow.
That's pretty
and
much.
that's literally what it is. It's really funny because me looking at it thinking, oh, there's a young lad trying to say he's in designer, but it's not the case. It's whatever he's found.
Whatever he's able to get around his.
You know what? I've got to go for a quick break.
Sure.
We go for a quick break, and I hope it's quick because I want to spend the final segment. We've only got one segment, and I don't think I'm doing any justice. I need a 2-hour show for this, but please don't go away. We'll be back very shortly, and we're going to have segment 3 where we're going to wrap up the Bangladesh Diaries. I'll see you very shortly.